Today we're going to do a thematic unit for ESL 3023, 9B1 and 9BA by
Haley Burnett,
Kristen Chalky,
Courtney O'Sullivan,
Nina Sansevera,
Logan Pugh.
Our thematic unit our theme is toys for first grade.
For English language arts and reading, our content objective is students will be able to recall information from the read aloud about characters and plot structure using a literacy ball. Our TEKs are 1.9A and 1.9B. Our language objective is students will be able to orally respond to basic reading questions on the ball using grade level appropriate language. Our ELP is 1.9. The activity is the teacher will read A Sick Day for Amos McGee. The students will toss a beach ball around in a circle. The students will answer questions on the ball about the characters, the main event, the problem, the setting, and the solution. Students answer the questions that their right hand lands on. If the student cannot read what the ball says, they may ask the person next to them for help. The ball will be passed until all questions are answered or until each student has a chance to answer one question.
For writing, the content objective is students will be able to write a short literary story using details about a character. The TEKs are 1.18A and 1.18B. The language objective is the student will be able to apply descriptive words when writing a literary short story about a character. The ELP is 5E. The activity is the teacher will begin the lesson by showing a plain Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head. The student will discuss how plain and uninteresting he or she is without the accessories or body parts. The teacher will add accessories to the figure, and students will discuss and write descriptive words about the Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head. The teacher will then discuss how providing the details that we choose will help a reader see what they want to see in a literary writing.
The next activity is for math. The content objective is the student will be able to apply the concepts of estimation, number sense, and solve grade level word problems by using real life objects and manipulatives. The TEK is 1.1C. The language objective is the student will be able to write their own word problems and solve in groups using real life objects and math manipulatives. TEK 1.1G. The activity will be that the students will be introduced to using math manipulatives with their teacher by working through a set of problems first together. Students will learn how math toys can assist them in learning number sense, estimation, and solving word problems. Upon completion, students will be asked to create their own word problems, selecting which math toy they would like to use, as well as orally share them within their cooperative learning groups.
The next subject is science, and the content objective is students will be able to apply the concept of force and motion by creating a balloon car, and this is TEK 1.6C. The language objective is students will be able to write a step-by-step process of how they made their balloon car using transitional words, for example, first, second, and third, and I used ELPS 1.5. The activity I did is teachers show the students different ways to create a balloon car. Students will choose materials that they believe will help the car move, such as rubber bands, water bottles, straws, and etc. Every student will have their own balloon. After testing their car, the student will write a step-by-step process of how they made their own balloon car.
The next subject is social studies. The content objective is students will be able to create a classroom or school map to guide a classmate by using a variety of materials. TEK 1.5A. The language objective is students will be able to show understanding for the purpose of a map by using it to guide them to their treasure. TEK 1.5A. Activity. Teacher will demonstrate a lesson on creating and using maps. Students will create their own map to use. Teacher will then split the students into groups, and students will pick a place to hide their treasure box in the classroom. After picking their place, the students will create a map for the other groups of students to use. Before the groups pass on their maps to their following classmate groups, the teacher will be reviewing it. Finally, the groups will participate in following the other groups' treasure maps around the classroom.
For art, our content objective is students will be able to paint a 2D toy using a variety of lines, shapes, colors, and forms in their painting. That is TEK 1.2A. The language objective is students will be able to share information about their pictures in cooperative learning groups using oral language. That is ELP 1.2. The activity would be students will select a random toy from a toy bin. Students will be provided paint to match what their toy colors are. Students will recreate a 2D version of one side of the toy they chose. Students will share their painting and toy with the class, and students will explain their painting and why they chose their toy.
The next activity is music, or subject is music. The content objective is students will be able to create their own rhythm pattern by using rhythm sticks, TEK 1.4a. The language objective is students will be able to demonstrate their rhythm pattern with their partner to show their understanding, TEK 1.4a. Activity. Teacher will teach students about the meaning of rhythm patterns. Students will use rhythm sticks with a partner. As a pair, they will figure out a part of a rhythm from a song. The teacher will facilitate to make sure the students are understanding. Teacher will then allow the pair to create their own rhythm pattern. Each pair of students will present their pattern in front of the class.
The next subject is going to be physical education, or PE. The content objective is the student will be able to apply foot patterns in hopping, jumping, skipping, and leaping, TEK 1.1b. The language objective is students will be able to demonstrate their ability to jump rope independently with a partner at different speeds and directions, TEK 1.1a. Teacher will model how to use a jump rope as a group. The students will practice jumping rope first independently. The students will take turns jumping rope with a partner. The students will then try to jump rope faster and in the opposite direction once comfortable. And if they choose, each pair may present their skills in front of the class.
The next activity is through technology. The content objective is the student will be able to write and orally present their literary short story that follows along with a virtual three-dimensional character. The TEK is 1.1c. The language objective is the student will be able to apply technology by creating a virtual character that follows along with a literary text they write. The ELP is 3b. The activity is the teacher will demonstrate how to use an app called Quiver, the augmented virtual reality application. Students will then draw their character, then use an augmented reality application to create a three-dimensional character. Students will then write a short story about the character. When they are finished, students will present their character and a story orally to the class.
Lastly, we have English as a second language, or ESL, and the content objective is students will be able to identify the correct past tense forms for key vocabulary, verbs for shopping specifically, by completing a worksheet, and I chose ELPS 1.3. The language objective is students will be able to apply the past tense verbs when writing a story about buying a toy at the toy store, and I used ELPS 1.4. The activity is the teacher will give the students a worksheet on past tense verbs with key vocabulary. The teacher will then explain why the vocabulary becomes past tense, and then the students will then be able to write a story about going to a toy store to find the toy that they want.
The end.